great revolutions in role-playing systems only occur once every while. Everything else is built off of something else. I was going somewhere else with that as well, and I completely blanked on it. But essentially, he's done a fantastic job of taking the original mold and his world building itself is his world was completely different. Strangely, not unlike in many places the novel that I was working on. So we actually had to collaborate a few times to go, okay, you realize I'm not stealing from you, right? Or that's a cool idea. Can I steal that from you? Yeah, sure. Okay. But as far as me actually going and filing what's known as filing the serial numbers off, I have not done that with anything. The closest I know, okay, for those that don't know, I'm actually, because of the Dresden Files and everything like that, I'm one of the thematic consultants. I know Jim, I'm on his beta reading list, all this other stuff like that. I know that when my book comes out, somebody's going to compare me to him, not realizing that I started working on this because I'm very slow. I started working on this before I had ever heard of Jim, and it was actually Glenn Cook that introduced me to the style. It's the Garrett Files, which is he originally wrote it as a non-fantasy book. Was told that, okay, I can sell this, but you're not going to make any money off of it because you're new in this genre. He retooled the entire thing as a gumshoe in basically the equivalent of a D&D fantasy setting. And pretty much he's the reason urban fantasy exists. It probably would have existed without him, but really, honestly, the mold for it was really, and it's not technically not urban fantasy because it's set in a mythological world, but it's what got the seed started for combining detectives and fantasy world, and that's what got me started going down this. I'm just extremely slow, and I am the polar opposite of Jim when it comes to how much I can write in a year.
What about you? How many serial numbers have you filed off? Remember, you're a lawyer. Don't lie. You're under oath.
Oh, okay. Really, no, I have, in Redheads, we file serial numbers off our friends and stick them in the book, and that's really the closest that it has come to it. And, I had two characters that become minions, and they were really good friends of ours who actually take care of us at conventions, make sure nobody bugs us. And one of them gets us a lot of towels, and he takes great pride in not getting caught stealing them off the carts. I don't know. Anyway, so they just seem naturals for the part. But yeah, they so I filed the serial numbers off, and they were supposed to be just kind of a scene or two, and they became very major characters in the novel, and they're pretty major characters in the next one. So that was kind of fun. And like I said, our publisher is the model for Satan, and the way Satan talks is the way Selena talks. And
which, if you don't know her, is perfect.
Yeah, she's awesome because she's not got a mean bone in her body, but boy, she can talk. So and she's just funny, and so we've done that with a few other people now too in this novel, and so we do that. And sometimes if I'm really having trouble getting a character's voice, I'll picture a certain actor playing the role and think about how they talk. And then sometimes I can get a sound for them that way, and so that basically, I'm more likely to file the serial number off of people than I am out of worlds.
I'm very much the same way.
But that's I found a really useful trick when you get stuck and you're just like, this person is not a person. And for whatever reason, I know all their background, they just don't have a voice. And so you find someone else's voice and give it to them. And you don't use their name.
And to build off that, have you ever had the opposite happen? You were working on something and you have to abandon it because it's going to suddenly look like you stole the idea from somebody.
Yes, or I've had to change it drastically to make it look different.
I've had my house searched for bugs before because television series steal my ideas.
Yeah, I had one short story I was working on for where it starts out with they had a friend that's always claimed to be psychic, You know, they're not sure if it's true or not. He never actually makes a big deal out of it. He had an idea not to get on a plane. And so they kind of got scared and didn't get on the plane. And the plane blows up. And then death hunts them down. Does this sound familiar to anybody?
Wait.
Final Destination?
I think I may have heard of this.
And the thing is luckily for me, I followed a website called chud.com. And they announced that they were going to be making a movie out of this idea. And I'm like, oh, crap. And I tossed. I mean, I was only like 10 paragraphs into the story when I found out about this. And I'm like, oh, God, toss. And then it came out, and of course, in the idea of what's going on, they don't say there's a plane involved. There's so many things that were similar to this, except my people were grown up and not teenagers, and death was actually stalking them, unlike in the movies where it's weird accidents portray death. In this, was actually death was a character, and he winds up playing chess with the final guy. Winds up playing chess at the end.
Not Battleship?
Doesn't happen. Yeah, not Battleship. No. And then the other one was, I'm sitting in a movie theater, and we actually adapted this one, a woman named Claudia Smith, who did what are called bullet scenarios, which are, they lock you in a room and drive you crazy for 3 hours. It's kind of like a smaller version of a dinner theater, where everybody improvs their part. We came up with a scenario for that was supposed to become a short story that I never wrote because I didn't feel I was good enough. Then I'm sitting in a movie theater one time and a preview comes up for a movie called Identity. And I'm like, oh crap. It's the same, I don't know if it ends the same way or anything. It's the same story, I can't write my story now. We even researched to make sure that the guy wasn't attending and didn't go to any of the bold scenarios. He's British, we didn't have any British players. It's the same